Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Marc Márquez's dominance this season has split opinion. For some fans, the 2025 MotoGP title race is a snooze. For others, it's a historic display of mastery. At the heart of that divide is one rider, Marquez, who has turned immediate aggression into measured control and, with a potent Ducati under him, has made winning look routine. Giacomo Agostini, a 15-time world champion and a regular presence at Misano, offered a blunt read on the state of MotoGP after the San Marino weekend. Agostini praised Marc Márquez's extraordinary season but admitted he expected more resistance from Francesco Bagnaia. The veteran reflected on the psychological toll of dominance and urged patience as Bagnaia tries to find his form. A week out from Montegi, where he could seal another world title, Marc Márquez looked back over the turbulence of recent years and explained why he kept fighting. The Ducati rider described the physical and mental lows after his injuries, admitted he came very close to retiring, and said his return was driven by a single question: could he still be competitive? Finding the GP25 answered that question, but the journey remains fresh in his mind. Ducati has confirmed that Alex Marquez's promotion to factory-spec machinery for 2026 will not strip VR46 of its factory-supported status, nor will it dislodge Fabio Di Giannantonio from a works bike. The move expands Ducati's pool of riders on the latest kit while keeping the manufacturer's satellite relationships intact. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Marquez has combined ruthless pace with smarter race management. Even after rare mistakes, like his sprint crash at Misano, he rebounds quickly and decisively. That pattern has made many Grands Prix predictable, Marquez up front, the rest scrapping behind. Predictability has dented weekend-to-weekend drama, but it builds a powerful season-long narrative. This isn't the first era dominated by a single rider or marque. Think Rossi's Yamaha years or Stoner's run. But Marquez's story is striking because it follows serious setbacks and injuries. Returning to peak form on Ducati and steamrolling the field adds an emotional and historical weight to the season. A huge points lead and repeated victories mean Marquez could seal the title early, Montegi mentioned as a likely coronation stage. The championship isn't utterly without interest. Alex Marquez's breakout second place brings a strong sibling subplot rarely seen at the top of the standings, and Marco Bezzecchi's sprint strength adds Saturday intrigue. These threads humanize an otherwise one-sided scoreline. Those side plots provide bite-sized drama even if the main story reads like a foregone conclusion. Francesco Bagnaia has been the season's counterpoint, confidence and feeling gone. Struggles at corner entry and with the GP25 setup. It's more than a dip in form. Technical and psychological troubles have trapped him in a slump. Being the factory teammate of a dominant rider only intensifies the pressure. Bagnaia's difficulties underline how one bike/setup/rider combination can suit some but punish others. Races that repeat a single script feel flat for fans chasing wheel-to-wheel uncertainty. Yet for historians, engineers and team strategists, the season is rich. It teaches lessons about rider adaptation, bike development, and racecraft. Marquez's evolution into a more cerebral competitor makes the results less flashy but more complete. Boring for instant thrills, but compelling as legacy building. Marc Márquez's 2025 campaign is a paradox, soporific in the turn-by-turn sense, monumental in the sweep of history. Whether you boo or applaud, the season will be remembered. A rider who returned from adversity, harnessed a superbike, and wrote a red-dominated chapter into MotoGP's record books. The lingering question: who, if anyone, can craft a counter-narrative before the final page is turned? Agostini recognized the lethal combination Marquez now rides with, raw speed married to a renewed determination. He said he expected Marquez to be strong, but he also thought the Spaniard might struggle in some races. Instead, Marquez has delivered consistently. We found a furious Marquez this year. That sustained excellence is the central story of the season, and the main pressure point for rivals and teammates. On Bagnaia, Agostini was empathetic but candid. He admits not knowing whether the Italian's slide is primarily technical or psychological, but he underlined the supreme importance of the mind in elite sport. The mind is the most important thing. Bagnaia has lost his determination, a determination that I hope he recovers. Fixes may require both engineering work and confidence rebuilding, one without the other risks being incomplete. Agostini confessed that at the season's start he anticipated a closer fight. He thought Bagnaia would fight harder and put on a better show, adding that other riders like Bezzecchi, Morbidelli and Di Giannantonio had been competitive, but Marquez has something more. The contrast between preseason expectation and the present gap sharpens the narrative. A predicted duo became near monopoly. Asked what guidance to offer Bagnaia, Agostini demurred, "There's no simple recipe." He stressed Bagnaia's intelligence and experience, suggesting recovery is a matter of finding the right personal solution rather than following external prescriptions. "There's no advice, he just needs to find a way to fix things." That humility reflects the limits of even the sport's greatest champions when confronting the complex mix of bike, setup, and psychology. Agostini closed with a personal anecdote, his own battle with Kenny Roberts, to illustrate resilience. He reminded listeners that confidence and self-belief can overturn expectations, and that setbacks are part of the competitive art. By invoking his own comeback moments, Agostini framed Bagnaia's plight as recoverable with the right mindset and work. Agostini's verdict is simple and sober. Marquez's dominance surprised even the old guard, and Bagnaia's slump is a layered problem, part bike, part mind. There's no quick fix, but the sport has seen turnarounds before. For now, Agostini's message is equal parts realism and hope. The situation is worrying, but not irreversible, and the sport will be better if Bagnaia rediscovers the determination that made him champion. Marquez was candid about the darkest moments after surgery and rehabilitation. Riding in 2021 didn't feel right, he said. His arm rotated, pain was constant, and motivation evaporated. That period led him to seriously consider retirement. "I was very close to retiring. I asked myself the question, why don't we stop? And that was it." For a rider famed for instinct and aggression, admitting vulnerability reframes his late career renaissance as something earned, not inevitable. Rather than cling to reputation or money, Marquez returned to answer a personal challenge. Could he still compete at the top? He set a one-year test for himself. If he wasn't competitive with Gresini, he would stop. That search for truth led him to Ducati. He followed his instinct, to ride, to stop, to seek the best bike, and chose Ducati to find the answer. That single-minded experiment explains the logic behind his late career switch and the risks he accepted to validate it. Recovery was not just physical. Marquez spoke of rebuilding his body and his mentality, acknowledging that the hardest phase came when the bike no longer felt natural. He emphasized the slow, detail-driven rehab that preceded regained confidence. "I need to rebuild my body, my mental side. I'm in the most difficult moment of my career." The confession highlights how elite performance depends on both biomechanics and mindset, a double rebuild Marquez has now largely completed. Marc reflected warmly on the sibling dynamic with Alex, a rare top 2 sibling story, and credited family feedback in his decisions. On Pecco Bagnaia, he struck a balanced tone. Bagnaia was favored on paper, but confidence can evaporate, and the team must help him recover. Marquez believes Pecco will return. "I had good feedback from my brother. I think Pecco will be back. He has the talent." Marc positions himself as competitive but measured, aware that a stronger teammate benefits development, and indirectly, his own results. With Montegi looming as a likely coronation stage, Marquez is careful not to assume outcomes. He said winning calms some pressures but warned everything can change overnight. Still, The prospect of proving himself one more time drives him. Trying doesn't mean you'll achieve it, but it's already a success. When I retire one day, I know I'll have tried my hardest. Montegi offers both the chance to finish a personal chapter and to underline that his comeback was about truth-seeking, not spectacle. Marc Márquez's pre-Montegi reflections blend humility, stubbornness, and clarity of purpose. From near retirement to Ducati success, his narrative is about asking, and answering, whether he could still compete. That quest has produced one of the season's defining stories, a rider who dared to restart, and in doing so, reshaped the championship and his own legacy. Motorsport reporting that Alex would receive a factory-spec Des Mercedes next season has been backed up by Ducati/VR46 confirmation. The Gresini rider's upgrade delivers the parity Alex has publicly sought: access to the same parts, testing opportunities and development pathway as the Lenovo factory pair. Ducati confirmed the promotion will take effect in 2026. For Alex, the key takeaway is equipment and influence, the difference between fighting for podiums and being an active voice in development. Despite the reshuffle, VR46 will retain its factory-supported team status and will continue to field a factory-spec bike for Fabio Di Giannantonio. That ensures Rossi's squad keeps a works rider and the associated technical support and upgrade access. VR46 and Ducati told Crash.net the arrangement will not change. That outcome preserves the commercial and sporting balance Ducati wanted while placating VR46's stakeholder interests. An engine homologation freeze applies through 2026 ahead of the 850 cubic centimeters era, but Ducati has homologated both GP24 and GP25 engines, allowing some flexibility for satellite entries. Factory teams, however, must use the same approved engine spec across their nominated riders. Because Marc Márquez and Francesco Bagnaia are Ducati's factory pair, they must share engine spec. Ducati's 4 factory spec riders are expected to run the GP25 engine with 2026 chassis/aero updates. The rulebook limits some swap and upgrade options, so Ducati's allocation of factory machines must be carefully managed to comply and to protect development plans. With the confirmations, Ducati is set to run 4 riders on its latest machinery in 2026: Marc Márquez and Francesco Bagnaia, Ducati Lenovo, Alex Marquez, Gresini, upgraded, and Fabio Di Giannantonio, VR46. Franco Morbidelli, VR46, and Fermin Aldeguer, Gresini, will remain on satellite spec packages. That gives Ducati unprecedented on-track representation with the newest kit while leaving clear pathways for satellite riders to receive non-engine updates compatible with their spec. More factory bikes equals more data and faster validation of chassis/aero items, a clear development advantage for Borgo Panigale. The trade-off is managing upgrade sequencing and expectations among promising talents, Aldeguer included, who were previously earmarked for quicker promotions. This is both a technical and a political decision, strengthening Ducati's immediate performance envelope, while reshuffling long-term talent plans. Ducati's confirmation keeps the factory-supported map intact while enlarging its works machine footprint. For Alex Marquez, it's the material upgrade he requested. For VR46, it's reassurance of continued factory backing. For Ducati, it's a data collection strategy that accelerates development, all within the constraints of the 2026 engine freeze. The jockeying for factory hardware is far from finished, but for now Ducati has balanced rider ambitions with regulatory reality. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!